Hello, everyone. My name's Jamie from Freely Give and a co-maintainer of the AI module. And today we have Scott User with us, who is another co-maintainer of the AI module. How's it going?
Hi there. This is Scott User. I'm one of the co-maintainers. Been working on specifically the AI search stuff. We'll get into that a little bit later. Um, yeah.
Cool. So, last time we brought another co-maintainer, Frederick, on with us, and we did a epic, almost 3-hour recording of Alpha 5, which quickly became Alpha 6. So this time we're going to do a little bit of a shorter one and give you a taste of what we're going to do, with the plan to re-record those longer ones later. But the main thing we're announcing is that we are now going to Beta 1. And this is really exciting for us, because it shows that we believe that the core of the AI module is in a stable place. We really think you can start using it. We really think we're going to start working on things like security, a lot more, like checking those things, update scripts, etc. And the goal is that as we work towards having a release candidate, and then the AI module being released. I'm hoping a lot of you who are watching this video has heard about the Dries note at Barcelona. And so you know the announcement that this AI is now going into the core of Drupal CMS, formerly known as Starshot. And so we've got a release schedule where we're going to have a release candidate for Starshot by DrupalCon Singapore. And then Starshot or Drupal CMS will be released in January next year. And so therefore, we're going to need the AI module to follow suit. And so that means it will be released in January at the very latest, hopefully earlier than that. So yeah, we're going to go into Beta 1 now. Which means a lot of you who have got modules on top of it can really feel like it's going to be stable. And the most important thing is the update scripts. We're still going to keep things in experimental. So the AI search, which Scott's going to talk about a bit more, and the automators is still going to be experimental. So there may be major API changes. We may not be able to do update scripts sometimes, although I don't think so at this point. So those things are going to be experimental, and they may still remain experimental by January, although I hope not. And we've got some issues about the path to bring those out of experimental. But we really believe that the core of it is very safe and hasn't changed very much. The main thing we've done is our abstraction layer allows you to have a whole bunch of different models, but it also allows other modules that are built on top of it to know what those models do. So, for example, you might have an AI model that is able to look at images or take in audio. And then you might build something on top of our module that requires audio. Well, now that module can know this model does support it or not, and produce easy error messages or have features degrade gracefully, etc. And the main thing we've done is create a UI so that even in the more complicated places like Hugging Face, or when you've got big providers providing a lot of models, you can, in the UI, make sure that you set those things up correctly. And so we're quite excited by that. One big motivation is that we've got a whole bunch of providers coming in that are more like a collection of models. So AWS Bedrock, Azure, and hopefully Google Vertex. So these larger organizations that have not just one model like OpenAI, but a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of tools all in one place. And we think this is going to be really key and important for organizations that value security and already have agreements in place with those cloud providers. So that's the only real change. I don't really need to show it. It's relatively minor for most people. It won't impact you. And so we're going to be releasing Beta 1 this week by the time this video is out. But that's the core of it. What we thought we'd do is give you a little bit of a taste of the modules that we're very excited about, the sub-modules that do really cool stuff, but that are experimental. And we've been working on them a lot. And whereas before they were very experimental, they were really more proof of concepts, they're much closer to a place where you could use them with real clients. And so Scott's going to talk about the work that he's done. He's been incredibly active in the issue queue at the moment, haven't you? In the last like two or three weeks for the AI search, changing everything. And yeah, my dream with AI search is it's a collection of a lot of approaches to AI search. So we're going to have something I'm calling the Assistants API, which allows it to, it's a thing powering the agents in the Dries note, but it's going to allow it to decide when it searches for something, or decide how it replies, or rewrites the queries before it searches for something. And then we've got the chatbot, which allows you to do things by chat, like you did see in the Dries note. But yes, Scott, you've been focusing on a much more specific version of the AI search. Do you want to talk a bit about what that is and why that's exciting?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I've been working a lot on AI search. It's really a foundational module that can do a lot from your sort of traditional searches that you have in your sites and listings and things like that, to sort of revolutionize that with much better relevance and content to the AI assistants, to sort of whatever you could think of to put your content into a vector database and make it easy to find semantically, based on, you know, more around the meaning of the content, and finding the content that's closest to the meaning that you're after, to find those matches.
Yeah.
So it's really quite a great sort of foundational starting point. You can find out a bit more about it off the AI module homepage. So if you go down to the documentation area, you'll see that we've got a lot of documentation for the different submodules there, including the AI search. And we've also got a number of different database providers now. So now we're supporting Milvus and Pinecone. So these are two different sort of vector database storages. But I think the important thing that you can get from that is that there are now multiple. So we're confident that the foundation is a good starting point to build off of for other tools as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to just quickly, sorry, come in there. Yeah, I'm really excited by that. We've been supporting Milvus for a while. We actually, in the old version that we worked on, the AI search API AI, we had Milvus, Pinecone, and Postgres. What we're finding is that these things called vector databases, there's a new style of database that is essential for doing this AI search that allows you to search based around the meaning of words, not just the text. And at the moment, unfortunately, they are different to the ones that we're traditionally using. But one thing I'm really excited about with this vector database is that now that we have two in the AI search module, we've really proven that our vector database abstraction layer can support multiple. And there is a lot of cool ones coming. We're speaking to some people about Elasticsearch, which a lot of people are familiar with. So bringing Elasticsearch into all of this will be really great because it's just one place. But even MariaDB, MySQL, and Postgres are saying they're going to support this vector database stuff, which would mean that there will be a future where your Drupal site is hosted can be where all of this stuff is hosted. So I think it's really cool for showing how the underlying thing is going to be future-proofed, like we are future-proofing the models. We're future-proofing these databases. So yeah.
Yeah. So we've tried to make it really simple to use the search API that you normally use in Drupal to make your more traditional databases, but setting up these different vector databases, so Milvus or Pinecone or any others that get added. But then within the search API, you've got your database server, which can be your traditional thing. That you have your Milvus server. We've tried to make these backends much easier to manage and understand, much easier to configure, with a lot of information to guide you through the process. We've tried to provide quick and easy information to see, how it works and how to set it up. Then within each index, we've tried to make it really easy to configure the different fields, make sure it's working properly. And one thing that we find really exciting is the ability to combine a traditional search.
Can I just stop you there? Before you do, if you could go back again. To that fields one. Yeah, I think this is really cool. Like if you look at the top, there's a lot of information about what this contextual content is, filterable attributes. What we found is that those of us in the AI module world, we live, breathe this stuff. And there's all of these really new complicated terms like embeddings and vector databases that are just quite hard to get into. And they're changing so much that a lot of us who are in it also find what the other people get we don't understand. And so the AI search thing, I think we could build really cool proof of concepts before. And we did show you that you could build your whole thing yourself in the last video. But people have struggled. So yeah, so Scott, so thank you for the work you've done there, because Scott's put a lot of effort to try and make it as smooth as possible. And this is continuing. Our dream is when it comes out of experimental, it really will be something that we're hoping will guide you through the process. You'll understand how it works. You'll get a really simple version of this out easily. and then be able to start adding the more complex, advanced tools yourself. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
just think
and
this is good. Yeah.
yeah, and within the database side of things, so if you're using a database or Solr, doesn't particularly matter. You have this ability to boost by an AI search, and so this is allowing you to combine a traditional search with an AI search. And basically, what that does is take what you're probably used to as quite poorly relevant results, and enhance it by AI generated results. So you can imagine you might have tens of thousands of pieces of content, and you might have your clients complaining about not having very good results coming up. If you combine it with AI search, we basically can boost results that the vector database sees as much higher relevance, and yet still have all the features you'd expect of your traditional search. So be able to have those 10,000 results show up, have those filters and so on available to allow your end users to narrow down the results. And it's quite exciting to be able to do both of these things together. And it's just a simple integration without having to do much to get there. So if you've got a sort of traditional search, you could type in, for example, um, uh, vegan meals, and you can find really accurate results. It'll find you, the vegan stuff, or what are good breakfast options, more of a question format, and you get really relevant results coming up as your sort of results for that. When you combine it with the database search, you could do the same sort of thing. So you could find the same results, but it also means that you can do filtering, as you would with a sort of traditional database, and that combination can be really powerful for a big site. Obviously, in Umami, the demo site for Drupal, there's a limited amount of content, so you don't really see the full sort of scope of this. But it's really quite powerful, and you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, this is really
Um,
cool. I think the thing that's quite exciting about this is a good on ramp into understanding what's going on behind the scenes. Is that hopefully a lot of people with Drupal sites will be able to boost with AI and just immediately find things are just better with relatively little effort and thought into it. Is that kind of how you envision this, or do you think it's going to be quite a lot of work?
no, it's really simple. Without much effort, you can really just make much better results than you could before. And there's a lot more you can do with it once you have those results. Yeah.
So a lot of people, when they talk about AI search, they've probably seen a whole bunch of companies. They have a chatbot. They have something, maybe a RAG database. There's stuff in Windows. There's like an NVIDIA thing you can get. There were loads of things, an example, where you just put a whole bunch of documents in it and then use a chatbot to talk to your content. What made you go in this direction instead? And what excites you about this direction over that other one?
I think clients want to be able to explore the content in a traditional way, and maybe they want help finding the right content and maybe getting summaries of answers, things like that. But I think they still want to read the full article. I think they want to still see that it's a trusted bit of information and not something that's just a generated bit of text, that it's got something behind it that they can sort of dig deeper into.
Hmm.
And I think that offers a lot of value, that the sort of the AI generated responses are a sort of window into the further exploration.
Yeah, I think we found that as well with some clients where the concept of a chatbot in of itself, I mean, obviously they're not that accurate yet, but the concept is a bit scary to them. Someone told me recently when Google Assistant started putting the AI thing at the top, their wife was a doctor, and they actually had somebody come in who was pregnant that says, "Well, I've started smoking loads of cigarettes now." And I'm like, "What? Why?" "Well, that's what the NHS said we should do, because I found it on Google. It's telling me I should smoke more cigarettes as if I'm pregnant." As a result of
Dangerous.
this. So they're very scared. So there's all these stories that I think have scared a lot of people with the chatbots. So we've had a few people like that. And the thing that's nice about this is people are used to, things like views, how that works. And if it gets it wrong, all that happens is the information is slightly less relevant. It's not false. When you click on it, it's still the same content as there. You just might search for oatmeal and get chocolate, and you didn't want that. So yeah, this is very cool, as I think almost everyone will be able to benefit from this in some way with their current sites. Is that right?
Yeah, I think baby steps easing into it. People will get used to using AI to kind of improve existing things. and then maybe see the benefits of doing more sort of revolutionary things with it. But it's a good way to get your foot in the door with it, I think.
Cool. And we have a talk. We're going to AI meetup on the 17th, isn't it? And I'm going to be doing a recollection of Barcelona. So depending on when you're watching this video, that might be in the past, or and so you can go and take a look at that. And so I'm going to get a recollection. I'm going to sort of discuss what happened at Barcelona, thoughts about it. But you're going to give a talk as well, particularly about this. Do you want to give a little highlight of what that's going to be?
Yeah, I'm gonna go really through the details on AI search module, how it works, how to properly chunk your content, how to properly get it so that you get good result. What are the sort of gotchas and things to watch out for, and what are the things that will help you get better answers. How to configure the different options, and to give a bit of an intro into how to contribute back and add more features and make it better. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's a good segue because I think contributing back is one of our big things that we've had since DrupalCon is a lot of people looking at helping support it and the AI module. They get very inspired by what's going into Drupal CMS and want to be part of it. So we've had a lot of pledges of people saying they want to help. Within 2 hours of us announcing about agents, somebody actually made their own agent that could that could turn modules on or off. I think it's one of the scariest agents to build because it could actually just uninstall a module, which means that it would just delete all the content related to that. So he changed it to now it can only enable modules rather than just uninstall them. But it was a cool thing that within a few hours he was contributing back. We also have, we'll link into the description below, but Open Collective / Drupal AI. We've also started Open Collective. I haven't quite figured out exactly how we're going to use it yet. We've got some ideas of who's it going to be for, how the money will be spent, what's the goal of it. But that's coming soon. Is there anything else you want to talk about now to do with search AI before your talk on the 17th?
I think it's just worth noting where in the on the module homepage you can also find the issue queue, and if you want to find specific issues, for example, to contribute back to AI search, have a look here. We've got a lot of fixed stuff because we've been working heavily on it ourselves, but there are some features that would just make it easier for users to do things, and I think any contributions are very welcome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'll just set the stage a little bit for where things are going with AI search and it being out of experimental. This is a very important step to moving out of experimental. The hope is that we will also support the thing that quite a lot of people think of when they think of AI search with a chatbot. And we need to make the assistance API a lot better and the chatbot itself a lot better. The motivation, of course, is that those two things are going to be powering the agents in Drupal CMS. So those also need to be at a release candidate and stable release level at some point. But I think this is going to be really important the other way. So what you have here is sort of AI magic of semantic-y understanding the meaning powering traditional views. But actually, what we're finding is the other way around is important as well. So having it so that LLMs, when they're giving an answer through a chatbot and they've done a search, also can use traditional search as well as this kind of semantic thing is really important. One example is if you're asking for, I've got this error message, what am I supposed to do with it? Actually, semantic search is very good because those are just a random set of numbers. The LLM won't understand what that means intrinsically. But searching for that exact match in your database will usually return a really good result. So when you get exact matches with traditional search, a lot of the time you want them instead of the RAG. Yeah, we're hoping to do that. And then there's a whole bunch of features that just aren't there yet. The way we store history, the UI of assistance is really tough at the moment. We need a lot of work on that. I think you found that as well, like getting your head around where things are. Was that complicated with assistance?
Yeah, I mean, there's work to be done. It's a great starting point for building a sort of conversation back and forth with an AI bot, and I think there's a lot of opportunity there to kind of refine that. But there's already a plugin system in there to be able to add in your own sort of functionality and have the AI system choose from actions it can take, which I found quite cool. And I can see a lot of ideas could go into that for what actions might an assistant do. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. It's a good foundation to build off of as well. I'm excited to see where that one goes.
Cool. And then finally, our Automators. It's pretty stable, but it's still an experimental. And the main thing is we want it to be able to At the moment, Automators, if you watch that video, are really good with taking a content types there and building a completely custom thing each time. But we've started building things like the alt text generator, or there's some other people that have been doing stuff with translation or editing, changing the tone of content, or things to do with like metadata and optimizing search for your content, etc. Where Automators could do it, but the thing that's nice about the alt text module is you just install it and it just works across your site without any thoughts. The downside of the way that we've done it is the prompts are hard coded. It doesn't have any contextual information about the site that you're looking at. So we're hoping to bring those together, and we have got it there ready for beta 1. So the new version of the alt text generation module will have Automators behind it, which means you can install it and it will work like it does now. It will be very simple to install, but you'll be able to click a button, or at least maybe go into config and change the prompts and then add to it and make it so that it's more contextually aware or understands how your site wants to do it, or you want to add more goals to it. So we really want to get that working so that Automators can start powering all the other stuff that we do before we bring that out of experimental, and make it so that Automators work with widgets, so that rather than just working when you click save, you'll be able to click a button in your content and it will then do that process. So that's where we're going to. So we've got these two modules, AI search and Automators, that will still be on experimental, and assistants still be in experimental, but the rest is now in beta 1. So feel free to use it. Yeah, and is there any last words that you've got, Scott, before I just tell people where to go with
no, looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible, next week, depending on when you're listening to this. I think it's October 17th, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, feel free to reach out to us in the issue queues on the AI module page, as Scott showed you before. We're also in #AI Slack, where I'm particularly on LinkedIn a lot. So if you want to reach out and chat to me about anything or want any support, feel free to reach out to us. And I'm really excited for your feedback. Hello, everyone. A last-minute addition to the Beta 1 video. We've now decided to take all of the providers out of the AI module and put them in their own separate modules. So everything that we've talked about in this video, we've now released as Alpha, I think 8 now. And hopefully what we're going to see for Beta 1 is a smaller AI module with all the providers outside of it. Now, one of the reasons why we decided to do this is initially we wanted to keep everything all in one place. It made it easier for us as maintainers to manage everything if there's one issue queue, one code base. And we wanted to make it so that when you installed the AI module out of the box, it would just work. You wouldn't need to go and find anything. But already the number of providers, especially the vector database providers, is getting pretty large. And most people will only want one, maybe two provider. So a lot of people, it means if you're going to use the AI module, you'd have a lot of code that you've got on your system that you've disabled, which is not ideal. It also means that for people who want to create their own distributions or versions of the AI module, you can then decide which providers you're going to support. So, for example, now in Starshot, it gives us the flexibility to decide the specific providers Starshot will support for its clients. And different organizations can pick their own one. So with recipes, you can make it come along with the providers that you want to support. As a result of this, we're going to make a new module, a recipe, which is going to be called like the AI ecosystem module, or recipe, which will then be a single place where everything exists. All of the modules that we've made, the agents will be there, everything, all the providers, but also it gives people who are outside of this core group of AI module maintainers who have already started contributing back amazing stuff, like with the Gemini model provider, that we can include other people's modules that want to be part of it in this new AI ecosystem recipe. And so if you want to get into the AI ecosystem recipe and whatever's going on, you can install that, see all of the providers that are available to you there, all of the modules that are available to you there, whether or not they're endpoint modules or initial ones. You'll see it all in one place and play around with it. But it's a recipe, so it applies everything. But if you decide you don't want anything and you fully uninstall and delete a provider, you could then go into production with that, knowing that that provider is not going to follow you. So that we think this is going to be a much better architecture going forward. We're still including most of what is already in the AI module Maybe in the future we'll have reasons to bring more stuff out. For now, the providers, both AI providers and vector database providers, will now be outside the core. So now back to the rest of the video. Hello, we thought we'd add a little bit to the Beta 1 release video because, this is quite a momentous occasion. So we thought we'd take some time to thank everyone who's been involved with the AI module from its inception. And I'm sure there's a lot of new contributors who will be in the next phase. Me and Scott are going to take it in turns to thank some people. So I just wanted to thank the Starshot leadership team, and especially Dries, for giving AI module so much prominence, allowing it to go into Starshot, or having a vision for how it could go into Starshot, and it being featured at Barcelona so recently. A lot of interest has come as a result of Barcelona. And of course, Acquia have provided funds for a lot of the stuff that you saw at Barcelona and for the AI module. And they've also, a lot of their team has helped us a lot with the direction. In the early days of the AI module, I was speaking to some of their AI team a lot, and they really helped solidify for me what's cool about AI, where it's going to go, etc. One of the first people to fund some of AI work was DXPR and Jurian. We're doing some work for him and for his company and his DXP platform, but he particularly focused on the alt text generator module that we built and is now going to go into Starshot. There's been a bunch of people contributing providers for the abstraction layer. So we worked closely with AWS and Taurus at Amazon to help build the AWS Bedrock, and that was funded. But also Aalto University have helped fund a Azure provider as well. And Juka, who's worked closely with them, he helped add operation types and built a few things into the core of it. So yeah, thanks to all of these fantastic organizations who have really helped push things forwards, build everything in one place, and also provided both time and money. Over to you.
And of course, Jamie, you and Marcus in particular at Freely Give should not go unmentioned. You've been steering the ship and bringing us all together. Having this sort of thought to take what was a fragmented ecosystem of AI modules, everybody, wanting to do their own thing and bringing our efforts together to make, one really good combined effort. And obviously you've put a lot of, time and money into it, and continue to support and lead the way. So that's been really great.
Yeah,
Valir and Kevin there in particular did a lot of work in the original OpenAI module and have brought a lot of that across into the AI core and AI seek editor in particular. So that's been really great, and Kevin continues to be a source of advice behind the scenes and contributing. Frederick Wouters has been working from Calibrate, raising a lot of awareness, helping improve the AI content tools, AI translate and validation, and just generally helping support anybody who's needing help. And finally, on the maintainer team, Michael from Noble Services Scotland has been doing a lot of the work, particularly around the initial AI search and LLM providers, vector database sort of efforts, and he's been a great source of very technical advice and direction behind the scenes as we build things. Yeah, back to you, Jamie.
Cool. Yeah. QED42 is one of the first companies to contribute to the Open Collective, opencollective.com/Drupal-AI. They're doing some really cool stuff. They've got some ideas of how they're going to collaborate together for the future with Beta 2, etc. So I'm really excited where that goes. We worked a lot with Open Social, and they're going to be announcing their Gaia AI functionality. And so they funded it. They helped work on improving the process with AI search and the seek editor stuff, especially Ronald at Open Social. Pronovix have been a great source of inspiration and advice. Christoph from there has helped fund some of the AI module, and we've been exploring things together on the future of AI, integrating it with their developer platform. And finally, of course, Soapbox and Scott. So thanks a lot for all of the work you've done, especially in the last few weeks, but you've been from beginning with OpenAI embeddings. You worked on getting search working there, and you've really helped smooth this over, make the process a lot better. So yeah, thanks to Scott and Soapbox, your employers, for allowing you to do all that.
Thanks.
Cool. Yeah, over to you, Scott.
So we've also had a lot of contributors on various specific issues. Vivek was working really hard. I hope got your name right. Really hard on the AI search, helping make the chatbot better, particularly efforts around Pinecone. Valerie has been working a lot on the translation side of things, doing a lot of bug fixing there, and has been there in the start since Drupal Dev Days in Burgas. And Stathis, again, I'm not sure if I'm getting the pronunciation right, but has improved a lot the AI content, particularly making it so that it can suggest tags that are based on your own vocabularies.
Yeah, and cool. And we've had a bunch of you help with testing and bug fixes. So we've had Artem help, Peter Philip, Alberto, Code by Monkey, Fabricio Rocha. So yeah, there's been a bunch of people in the early days who with when there was less visibility, still got involved and still helped fix bugs, suggest things, test stuff with us. So thanks a lot. I'm hoping this list of people who will be contributing that will get a lot bigger for RC1s and future versions. But thanks a lot to you for believing in this module at the beginning. Yeah, thanks a lot. And we'll see you for the next release.